Hi everybody, it's Agnes. I've got another interview for you today. Today it's with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is in Australia with me. Well, not with me in this place, but he's at another location. And we're going to chat about manifesting, about Neville Goddard's techniques, applying it, etc., etc. So welcome Bruce Lee to the call.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? I'm Bruce, and I'd like to share with you my experiences and my tips for Neville. I've been studying Neville for possibly about 3 years now, but I've been listening to his lectures and read almost all of his books, and I have I just want to share with you my manifestations as well. I've been on Agnes's channel for a while. I've been watching her videos on self-love. They've been very useful, and the specific person manifestations as well from her. Like one of my specific manifestations were successful because of her from one of the videos, and I would like to share that with you guys.
Go for it.
So the manifest. Would you like me to talk about the manifestation story first, or the?
Yes. How about start there, and then
So there is one specific person that I wanted to be with, and we were compelled to actually say hi and things like that. And one of the videos on Agnes's YouTube is about sleeping next to this person and waking up next to this person, I think it was. And I listened to that YouTube for a few times before I sleep, and I did everything Agnes told me to do, and Neville told me to do as well. It's a skin-to-skin technique where you just, in your mind's eye, you imagine this person next to you and you imagine them completely there. And I didn't specify where it is. I just specified as a bed, and this specific person is next to me. And I completely forgotten about this. After maybe I did it for a few nights and I completely forgotten about it in 2 months. So, and I didn't know what happened during those 2 months, and it happened. It manifested in such a funny way. We went to a beach. We decided to go to a beach at night and have a fire there. But then she brought some alcohol, which made us really drunk. And this is really funny because Neville says the bridge of events. You'll never know. Sometimes you'll never know when the manifestation will come, and this is what happens. And it's also not to think about how it will come, because once you have something like this happen to you, you'll never doubt it again, and you'll never think of the how. And this is what happened. Near the beach, it was really cold that night, and then we got super drunk, and I was compelled to just find a place to hide because the fire's burned out, and there was a little house, and we walked into this house, and then there's a small studio next to the beach, like in Australia, it has a beach view and everything, but then the door was unlocked, so we both got inside and we ended up sleeping there for the night. And in the morning we woke up, and I had my very specific scene. It was very similar to what I had imagined. She was next to me and I was next to her.
Wow.
And we're just talking to each other. Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I want to say before you go on, that technique comes from John Kironde. He taught it to me.
Right.
Just to give credit to where it actually came from. He taught it to me. He taught it to me, and I used it, and I manifested the same as you. So it's a really good technique.
Yeah, very good technique.
That's great. That's
use
fantastic.
the feeling of touch as well as smell, especially.
You mean for that scene? For that particular?
Yeah, for scene, yeah.
Okay.
For me specifically, yeah. I'm not sure about other people, and I can hear her voice as well.
Yep.
I can smell her because I know what she smells like. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it's very good. I never thought it will come out this way, and I didn't know I manifested it like 2-3 weeks after that event, because I completely forgotten about it. I just didn't know.
Mm.
It just seemed to be. It just seemed to happen like, so easily, so naturally. Then when
Yeah.
I think about it, 2 weeks after that, I found out I manifested it. It really happened.
That's so great. So how many times would you say you imagined it?
Maybe 3 nights, three,
Okay.
4 nights, and then I've completely forgotten about it.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, I think that's key too. When you forget, you let it go. And you didn't let it go. You didn't say to yourself, let go, and then it'll happen. You literally did that naturally. So
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of, you launch the creation and then you move on to other things. And you know that what you launch will eventually you will reap what you sowed. But I
You'll
think,
definitely reap what
yeah,
you sow. It's just sometimes you even forget what you have reaped.
yeah,
Maybe 5
definitely.
years from before, two
Yeah,
days from before, and you're starting to see these things. Most people forget about them. Even Neville talks about
yeah,
people forgetting what you have reaped, and
yeah.
yeah, and even some people follow Neville teachings. Maybe I think in one of his lectures he said some people went to his lectures a few times and
Yeah.
then didn't go back, but then they manifested what they wanted, and they
Mm.
gave their course to this bridge of events instead of their imagination.
Mm.
So this is what happened to those people. But it's cool, like they can say what they want, but they still got what they wanted,
Yep.
because the bridge of incidents is really like the smoothest way of how it can be done, maybe, or
Mm.
one of the many ways that it can be done, but you'll never figure out how it's done.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's often in a way like that, you thinking about, okay, we're going to go to the beach and then it's going to get dark and cold and then we're going to find this house. Like never could have thought of any of
Yeah.
that.
No, because the house was just there was unlocked, and I
Yeah,
just
that's
opened the door.
amazing.
And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 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 That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that thing, like what you said about activating certain senses, because Neville talks a lot about that, activating, is it touch, is it sight, is it smell, is it, like which senses are relevant to that particular thing that you want. You got to try and activate, if you can activate, at least a couple of senses in every imaginal scene, it comes forward quicker because it's more real to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Some
Mm,
people are better at sounds, some people are better at smell, but I
that's
think
true.
most people are good at sounds and
Yeah.
touch in
Yeah.
general. I think most people, and
Yeah. I think people
most
struggle
people,
with visual more. People more struggle
yeah,
with imagining with scenes.
there are exercises you can do that I have done
Yeah.
before, and
Yeah.
um, so you can spend maybe 10 minutes a day just imagining yourself, watching yourself somewhere. So if I'm sitting here on this chair, I
Yeah.
can imagine myself standing and looking at something else, or touching. Well, I just like teleport everywhere in my house. I just like in my bed, and I teleport somewhere in the kitchen, and it's somewhere that like your home.
Yeah.
You've been there many times, or maybe your grandmother's house or something. You
Yeah.
always do that. You always teleport there, touch a few things, like touch the
Ah,
wall, open the fridge, close the fridge, come
yeah.
back. Do that for fun, and
Yeah.
then your imagination will increase, the senses, your inner senses will improve
That's true.
as well. And hear your friends talk about you in a good way
Yeah.
that will help your hearing. And
Mm.
touching is quite easy. Maybe touch tennis ball, and then yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do with my imagination to help me with um, my inner senses, to improve my inner senses when it's easier to imagine. I can imagine myself standing and then I jump up and down, I spin, and I count my fingers in it.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when you spin in your body, when you're imagining it, I think your astral body also like spins, and that works also. Like
Okay.
yeah, your spatial memory just helps. Yeah.
Cool. I like you
It's worth.
teleporting to the other rooms in the house. I can't say I've teleported to, while I was in Sydney, I'd teleport to that bed in London to be with my specific person to do skin to skin, but I've never actually teleported laying in bed and being in the kitchen. I've never tried that. Make a cup of tea and then bring it back to bed. That's hilarious. I love that.
And
excellent.
Especially sleeping is one of the important things. I look forward to sleeping, and really before I sleep, I make sure that I imagine every night something. Maybe might not be the same every day, but for me, I have some specific desires that I would like, so I'll do that.
Yep.
Some days if I don't feel like doing that, then I'll do something else. That also helps. You're not forced to like visualize one thing.
Yeah.
So just make sure you have discipline before you sleep is really important.
Certainly
before
is.
you sleep and after you sleep, just to stay in a good state. And you should be pretty good like rest of the day. Your mind, your mood shouldn't fluctuate too much. You should maintain the like peaceful state. If you sleep in a state of peace, of like happiness, and
That's
you
true.
wake up like somehow happy, peaceful, then you shouldn't. Yeah,
it's true. What you take into sleep, it's easier to come out at the other end in the morning in a much better place, rather than you take worry or something into sleep and then you wake up, you still got that feeling on top of you.
And Neville also talked about this. Very important to lube the feeling. Before you sleep. Some people struggle; they fall asleep straight away. It's important, if you can't imagine the scene, simply feel the feeling before you fall asleep. Like that's the minimum requirement that you can do, and that's easier to do.
Going back to the skin to skin one, what feeling did you take into sleep with that?
Just feeling happy. Feeling, not necessarily feeling loved, but I just I did have that feeling as well. Like feeling loved. Feeling, oh, this has happened. This is cool.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
It just felt so real to me, like when I did the imagination. So
it does feel real.
Loved is definitely one. Yeah, it does feel real.
When you do it over and over. And as Neville always says, it's getting those tones of naturalness. And the more you do it, it's like when you put on a brand new T-shirt, it feels uncomfortable, but you keep washing it and wearing it and washing it and wearing it. It becomes, it just feels like your skin. And it's the same when you do this. It becomes mentally comfortable, mentally natural. Yeah, that's good. That's a good little, I think because there's a lot of people on my channel that watch, because they want a specific person. I think that's one of the best exercises I ever did that came from John. And it's a simple thing, because you don't need to know what country the bed is in. You don't need to know what house it's in. You don't need to know what city it's in. You just picture a bed and you get into it. And doesn't matter. Across the board, people sleep in beds mostly. So it just means you don't have to think about all that extra detail, and you just bring it right down to that one thing. Yeah.
It works. These things work.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And I think You got to prove it to yourself that they work. You can hear that they work, but you got to practice and apply that they will work for you.
Yes.
So what else do you want to tell us?
What else? A way to discipline the mind.
Yeah.
So whenever you catch yourself in a state that you don't like, you have to know that you're bigger than the state, and you can choose to go into the other state. But a quicker way to do this is it's called break state. So it's something people do in psychology for people that have problems emotionally. This helps for you too, who are normal people and don't have mental problems. But it works by whenever you catch yourself in a state that you don't like, simply break the state. You have to catch yourself. And you do this by thinking about something else completely. So you would think about what did you eat yesterday for lunch? Think about that straight away, and then they'll immediately break the state.
Yeah.
Or look at the architecture of the building in you, or maybe count the bricks, or count how many cars there are. Maybe find 15 red things around you.
Yeah.
And every time you catch yourself do that, and then you catch yourself in that state you don't like, simply break the state and then move into another state.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time you do that, it's a muscle that you train. And every time you do that, your mind gets stronger. And it just gets easier every time.
It does.
So it takes practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this completely takes your mind away from that state. Like, you just completely take your mind away.
Yeah, I agree with you, because we're so, I just want to go over this problem to see if I can work it out. And you never do. You just go down the rabbit hole even further. But the power of distraction is a massive,
it's powerful distraction.
Huge. Yeah, that's a good one. I think, and it does get easier. I find I practice that one a lot. And doing affirmations is one of those things. Looking for visual things is another one. Like you said, looking for, 10 red things in the room. You just literally pull yourself away from it, and you make a decision you just go, right, I don't want to be doing this. I'm going to really make an effort to drag myself away. And it does. Then your vibe lifts up again. It really does.
It does.
Oh, I love this stuff. Neville has been a real life changer for you and for me. I think it's like the more you go into what he says, but not just reading it, but applying it. My whole life has changed since I've read Neville. Every area was a disaster for me, and everything has changed. My meaning, I've gone from, not having work that I like to meaningful work, to earning more money, to being able to help my mum if I want to travel, to being with my specific person in another country. It's just, the whole thing is just getting better and better and better and better. And I still do about 500 to 1,000 affirmations a day. It only takes about an hour, but I make sure that that's part of my daily routine. I like it. It's fun. I enjoy thinking and repeating things that are moving me forward. And I can see that it works. My life is the evidence that it has worked. So
it has, definitely.
Yeah. I met you, as we said, you and I met 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And we physically met. We actually got together a few times, and, we talked about Neville, and we met with other people in a group, and we had a, fantastic time, because everybody there was like-minded, and we had amazing conversations. And, it's like you introduced me to a Neville group. I hopped in there. I got to know you. And then you and I realized that we could actually physically meet. And then we did. And, to have people you can talk about this stuff to, and that people that love it as much as you, doesn't get better than that. So good.
This is
So,
amazing.
yeah. You were mentioning to me about sharing some tips and things with the viewers about stuff that's really helped you. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah. So I've said, as I've said before, the imagine exercise. Imagine yourself, teleport yourself like anywhere, and
Yeah.
simply touch things and just play with it, and just with your body, astral body, just jump up and down. Look
Mm.
at your hands, count your fingers,
Yeah.
spin around. That really helps.
Yeah.
Also, have a listen to your friends. So play their voices over and over again, saying
Mm.
good things, and that helps you with your audio sense. Like it helps you with you listening.
Yeah.
Also with the breaking state as well. So
Yeah.
try to distract yourself completely, and one more thing is if you don't feel like imagining that day, or like don't force yourself to, simply just like
Mm.
be relaxed and just maybe do some affirmations and take it easy.
Yeah.
And one really important thing is before you sleep and after you wake up. That's very important. And all these things that I tell you probably take maybe an hour a day to do, but then they
Yeah.
really pay off. Yeah, it's investment.
It
And
is.
yeah.
Bruce, didn't you and I think there was a couple of people when we all got together.
Yes.
Wasn't there that using the mind to bend the spoon? Didn't you am I recalling that? Didn't you practice that?
Yes.
Can you talk a bit about that? Because I remember we were laughing a lot about that and having a good time.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Because I was talking to other people when all that was going on. So what happened?
So yeah, we bent a spoon. So we were meeting up, and there was this group of people. Agnes was there. We were trying to. Agnes took out the spoons from her drawers, and everyone started trying to bend them with their minds. And um, yeah, Agnes was talking to someone else, and it was all like distracted. And then the girl near me, I saw her, and she just bent the spoon. She she spent a spoon. Only me and her saw. Like, she knows obviously because she bent the spoon, and I
Yeah.
saw it as well.
Yeah.
And then we were trying to tell everybody, and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe.
Yeah, I mean that's the power of, it just shows you the physical power that it can, the energy that it can generate. So if you look at that and you go, okay, well, if I can do that, then therefore there is the possibility to attract the most amazing work I've ever had, or to increase my income, or to attract that specific person. It's so possible once you expand. I am a powerful being and I am a conscious creator, and I can, Neville
Yeah.
did the ladder exercise to prove a point. Then there's this spoon bending thing. They're little exercises that you can see the evidence of the power within you. And some people need proof. So, once
Mm-hmm.
you've created certain things and you've manifested certain things, you no longer need proof. But I understand in the beginning that people do need that. So, and that's fine. You can play around with it and have fun. And it's exhilarating to say, hey, let me see if I can do this, or let me see if I can do that, and really, really extend the energy and the concentration and the discipline of the mind towards, you create a line of energy between you over here and whatever it is over there, and you collapse space and time. So it's a fascinating thing to play around with.
I've seen some people, they do some small exercises like the lat exercise.
Yeah.
Someone on another place manifested two things, and so this is what they did. So manifesting an unusual object, like maybe like a red tennis ball or something like that, or like
Yeah.
those ducks in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, the little yellow
Those,
duck.
yeah. Yeah, they manifest maybe like a red one or a green one or something, and some of them got it. So in
Okay.
a very unusual way as well, and that's maybe like if you can like a very unusual object, if you can manifest those things, it's very easy for you. First of all, you don't have attachment to it, and simply do it over and over again. Feel yourself touching it, and for maybe a few days, and forget about it, and you'll find it maybe even in a few days, because they don't make those like green rubber ducks or
no, they make yellow ones usually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But it is good to practice with stuff like that, because it does give you, it's like you go up in levels of believability. So then you can do it with $100,000. Then you can do it with a specific person. Then you can do it with, you know, healing yourself of cancer or something. If you start with those smaller things and you see the results and you go, and it gives you a feeling of more security about your manifesting. You become more confident. That's what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one more thing I like to share is maybe a few more things I like to share about revision.
Yes.
Revision is very important. So maybe this is what I did. So I took like a few days because we had a road trip and it was a really long drive. So like maybe like 4 or 5 hours drive per day. So during that time, I wrote down a timeline like on my phone, and then I wrote down every event that happened in my life, and like major events.
Yeah.
So events that were bad, I'd turn them into good, and events that were good, I'd turn them into better events. So and it took me quite a while to revise all of them, and even now I still have to revise them. I look over my list, my timeline from me being age maybe 2 years old, 3 years old.
Yeah.
Things that are good to turn them into better things. And so that's, most people think of revision as turning bad things into good things, but it all can also work from turning good things into better. And that's the true. Best version of it. Yeah, that really opened my mind. And obviously you have to revise the bad things into good things. So that's what I did. And I felt a lot better after that. It literally took me a few days of hours of revision, hours and hours of revision.
What a great way to use that time on a road trip, because you're usually just looking out the window going, are we going to get there? That's a great...
Like on the plane as well, that works. And also there's a thing called instantaneous revision. Whenever you hear someone say something bad, or I don't know, do something you don't like, revise it straight away when you hear it. Don't wait for further time. Just simply revise it straight away. That's the only way to change. And don't feel like a bad state for a while. Just simply stop it. Some people are addicted to these bad states.
Yes.
They will like to stay in this state for one more second, and you shouldn't stay in that state for even one more second.
Yeah.
Some people like to feel bad feelings, but I think they're addicted to them.
Yeah, it's familiar.
Yeah. Especially if you grew up in bad childhood, then it feels familiar to you, but don't even feel that for even one more second. Straight away, stop it and just revise it. When it's revise things while they happened after, you have to do it straight away. So,
for
instantaneous revision.
Then you're not carrying it forward into from the present into the future. You're not dragging it with you. And
change everything from the past. Everything. It's absolutely crucial to do revision. When you have time off, then simply write down, have a piece of paper, and then write down the major things that happened. And simply revise them. It will take some time. Like each event might take like maybe 5 to 10 minutes to revise. But then it's worth it at the end. And then after like a few days, go over it again. Okay. After a few days, go over it again, and every 2-3 weeks, go over it again, so it sticks to memory.
Definitely. definitely. I think I've been playing around with pre-paving rather than revising. You know, obviously the childhood stuff, you can't pre-pave because it's happened already, but it's like going into things today, it's like you line up your energy and you go, I'm going to go into this meeting, or I'm going to go into this situation, and everything works out. It's such an amazing feeling knowing that it turned out better than I thought, and you pre-pave it before you walk in, which means you got to do a lot less revision after that.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really good too.
Yeah, because
pre-paving.
Pre-paving means there's a lot less to revise, you know. So yeah, both are good. They're both like a pair of bookends, you know. They're on opposite. You work with both. So yeah. We love this stuff, don't we, Bruce?
We do, Agnes. This is amazing things.
We do.
Agnes, it's very different from what I've seen 2 years ago. She's completely changed. You have completely changed.
Have I?
Yeah, like very good. Like it shows that Neville's methods really work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I think, you know, I mean, all the Neville groups and the law of attraction groups and all that is great. But there comes a point where you pull away and do less of that, and you do more of the actual doing and applying. And I think, you know, I was in Facebook groups a lot when things weren't working, and thank God they're there when you feel like that. But you get to the place where you go, okay, I need to stop watching YouTubes and not applying it. I need to watch it, write it down, work on those components, the mechanics of things, and actually apply it to what is going on with me. And I need to stop telling the story of, oh, this is what's happening and I don't feel good and da-da-da. You got to pull back, rewind, you know, and it really is. Read it, but do it. And I know that I read Neville for a long time and I would apply it sometimes, but I was doing a lot more reading and a lot less applying.
Than actually applying.
Yeah. And my life reflected that. I didn't have, you know, I might have had a 40% life that I wanted, whereas now I've pretty much got a, you know, 95 to 100% life that I want. But I do spend a lot of time every day applying, and, you know, I have to.
Yeah, you definitely apply them.
Yeah.
Because they work.
They do. And the freedom, you know, that was the thing. I felt so trapped in lots of different areas for lots of different reasons. And I thought my basic feeling place is I feel trapped. And I thought, I want freedom then. If that's how I feel, the other state that I'm really reaching for is I want to be free. So I said that hundreds of times a day. I am free. And I'd breathe in and breathe out and go, I let go of that trap feeling. I let go of it. Breathe. I feel so free. I feel exhilarated. And again and again and again and again, practice that state, like what you were talking about before. And, you know, I've never
It'll become natural to you, the state. Just like what you said before about wearing a t-shirt. Like, it's kind of like buying a new shoe, and first few days it feels a bit weird, but then after that it works.
Yeah, you got to get past the blisters stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. It does. Everything that you're doing around Neville, around, you know, a lot of people watch Abraham Hicks or Wayne Dyer or Catherine Ponder, et cetera. It's really saying, okay, how do I, and the first thing that I can see that I've had to really improve is my concentration. Because this whole thing of doing too many techniques, applying bits and pieces, it's like going to the gym and doing 2 reps of everything and then you never see any result. I had to really get good at one technique at a time. And it was, for me, it was self-love first. Secondly, it was living in the end. 2 things.
Yep.
And remembering that thing that Neville talks about, whatever I'm getting on the outside is me pushed out. So if I've got something I don't like, I've got to rewind and go, okay, if you've got that going on, you really need to look over this way and activate that different state, which is what you talked about. And practicing the new state, concentrate, because we're very much a split concentration era because of technology. You know, we multitask. You're on your phone, you're sending an email, you got the music playing or the TV on, you got all this stuff bombarding you, and everything's scattered energy. So that thing of concentration, pure pinpointed concentration, has been the thing that has accelerated my manifesting very much.
Great.
Yeah.
Concentration.
Yeah. Concentration. And you do one thing and you give it your 100% focus, and then you move on to the next thing. But you don't do two things at once, you know. It's like people used to say to me, you know, why don't you get on Facebook, and why don't you get on Twitter, and why don't you get... No, I'm doing YouTube. I'm doing it well. That's it. 100% concentration. Not going to scatter my energies across all these platforms. And yet every marketing person says, oh, you need to get on all the social medias. No, that goes against my concentration. It goes against me focusing my energy and not scattering my energy. Do something, do it well. So it really shows when you water that one plant, it grows. But if you're watering 10 plants, they all stay about that big for quite a long time. So, you know, I think that's the one thing that really, 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 really gave me rapid manifestation over time. I mean, you know, it got faster because my concentration improved. So, yeah. So there you go, Bruce.
Thanks, Agnes. It's been great to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to say before we sign off? Or is there any other success story you want to share about yourself, or any other little tip that you think's helpful?
I've got way too many. The story will take me hours to say.
Well, we might have to do a part 2 then in a few months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, one of my tips is manifesting is basically a skill that either you're good at it or you're not good at it. It's just like a skill in piano or things like that. But if you imagine yourself to be good at manifesting, if you imagine yourself being a master at it, then you'll find books. You'll do these. You'll be compelled to find books, or maybe read books or watch videos about manifestation. It makes you a better manifester. And if your desire is to be a very good manifester, that should compel you. Your higher self will find all the ways for you to be good at it. And just like a state, you can be good at manifesting or bad at manifesting. So if you think manifestation is hard, that will also appear in your in your life as well. You're making it hard when it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure.
It's supposed to be easy and fun, and you're already a master at it. So that's right. My final tip.
Black belt manifesting.
Yeah.
It is. It's like you go up in, you know, you start with karate, you get your white belt, and then I think it goes up to yellow, and then you work your way up to black. And it is like that. You are working up levels, but it's like you're playing a video game and you're playing against yourself. You're not really playing against anyone. You're playing against yourself. You're saying, how can I improve my discipline? How can I improve my concentration? How can I improve my affirmations? My self-love needs work. Remembering everyone's you pushed out. So you've got all these things going on simultaneously, and you hone your skills at watching what you're getting on the outside, correcting the inside, watching what's going on the outside, correcting the inside. Yep. It's this constant game between the inside and the outside, inside, outside, inside, outside. And that's where it really becomes, as Florence Scovel Shinn would say, the game of life. She talked about that and wrote a book about it. Yeah. So it is, you're playing against yourself all the time, and you see how good you're getting at certain things. And you're the only one that knows what goes through your head. So you're the only one that can really assess whether you're improving or not. So and the manifestations will give you evidence as well. But yeah, it is a fun game. It is a fun.
Assume being a black belt in manifesting.
Yep.
You're already a black belt, so and you'll find all the ways to achieve that.
Yeah.
Somehow you'll join groups. Maybe you'll see people. You'll read books, and you'll do specific exercises, which I don't know. Like you'll somehow find it.
Yeah.
You'll practice it, and you'll be good at it.
Correct. Lovely. Well, thank you, Bruce, for joining me today on your Saturday morning in Australia. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you for your time, Agnes. It's been amazing.
Yeah,
Talk to you again.
Good. Hey, let's do a part 2 in a couple of months. We can we can go into, if you want, you can share more of the manifestations, how you've applied this stuff, and then the results you've personally got. I think that would be lovely. If you want to share stuff, we can do that in a little while. Yep. So before we go, I just want to say I did a BlogTalk Radio interview, and I'm going to put the link down below, and it was about manifesting the life you want, and that's very relevant to what we've been talking about today. And it's really not that hard. It's possible. And it is something you can keep practicing and getting better at, as we've talked about today. So thank you, Bruce, for sharing. And you did say you will be available to answer comments down below as people pop things up. So
yes,
Bruce
I will be. Yeah,
he'll be in the thread because a lot of you do like asking questions and learning more. So that is there. So Bruce and I are going to sign off and say goodbye. Do you want to say bye, Bruce?
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
And we'll see Bruce for part number 2.